I'm Will Carr, and I'm here to fire you up.
What's up, everyone? I'm Will Carr. Welcome back to another episode of the Will Carr Speaks podcast. Super excited about this podcast today. I know I always say that, because I always am excited for every episode, but really excited to connect with an old friend who I haven't seen in a while today, Boyd Wilkinson. And before Boyd and I dive in and we just start chatting, I just want to give a little bit of context, which I don't typically do. But I think the way Boyd and I know each other is just so interesting. And it's Boyd and I met at the drop zone, skydiving. So I don't think that's anything I've really talked about on a podcast or really even publicly at all, that I used to be a very avid skydiver. And even with my 80-some jumps, Boyd has about 100 times that, I think.
Not too far off.
Yeah. How many times have you jumped out of a plane, brother?
Best guess is like 6,400-ish, plus or minus a couple hundred here or there. But
best guess, 6,400 plus minus 100.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, it's you kind of count by hundreds or thousands,
Yeah.
So a lot of time in the sky.
Yeah. And man, I mean, it's just but before we started talking, you said it's been 5 years since you've jumped.
I think so. I think that's about right.
Yeah.
5 years since jumping out of a plane, and yeah, just life and ambitions change, and loved every minute of that, but passionate about other things now.
Yeah. Well, what are you passionate about now?
Man, it's been a roller coaster for sure, but currently really passionate about building a really good business.
Yeah.
I'm the type that it's not difficult to get me fired up and passionate about just about anything.
Yeah.
But at the moment, and this is not my first round with a business, but I'm really focused on building a good, quality, healthy, positive business that means something not only to me, but to the community.
Yeah. What is it? Tell me what that means to you, because, I could dive in and explain, you have, it's called Jetack Stickers.
Right.
And you make labels, stickers,
Yep.
Print all types of things, anything with an adhesive.
Stickers and labels.
Yeah.
Yep. And so the distinction between the two isn't ultra clear, but the way that we say it is stickers are for saying something and labels are for selling something. So labels, typically you'd see on a product, hot sauce.
Yeah.
We make a ton of pickle labels for pickle jars.
Cool.
Beer cans, that kind of thing. And stickers, everybody knows stickers.
Right.
Pick them up at the local brewery. Great for promotion or just getting your message across, putting it on a water bottle, laptop, car window.
Yeah.
So those are our two main categories of products that we make.
Yeah. And you, like you said, this isn't your first business, man. You've had a few. So when I first met you and you were, you're an AFF instructor, you're skydiving all the time. Had you had any businesses at that point?
My first one I started at 16.
Okay.
Yep. Started a window cleaning company.
Okay.
With about $150 of borrowed money from mom.
Okay.
Knew nothing other than
all you needed for the equipment.
Right. And this is back in the day of the white pages and the yellow pages where you actually had to flip through and find stuff. But
yeah,
the only reason for that was that my dad knew somebody who started a window cleaning company and was successful at it. So I was like, well, cleaning windows can't be that hard. I should be able to do that same thing. So found a place in the phone book, drove over, picked up some squeegees and some tools, asked a bunch of questions, got some business cards printed up, and went out and started selling window cleaning services to strip malls.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that was business number one.
That was number one.
What was business number two?
Oh, man. Okay. It's going to be tricky to figure out all of them. I should have been more prepared for that type of question. But there's been a bunch.
You don't have to tell me about all.
I'll give you some highlights.
Okay.
A couple that were just like ideas, start, register the business, go nowhere.
Okay.
Next one, highlight would have been early 20s. So I grew up as a competitive water skier.
Okay.
And there are three main events in traditional water skiing: slalom, trick, and jump. I was getting really into jump skiing. I needed a new pair of jump skis, and I figured they're expensive at the time, like $1,600, something like that. It's like, well, I could probably figure out how to build them for about that same amount of money. Let's give it a shot. I just wanted to build my own pair. Well, it was $60,000 or $70,000 in to materials and testing and failures before we had a pair of jump skis. And I was kind of public about it on some message groups and stuff, and had to sell the first pair to keep the materials coming. And so never even got to try them. Yeah. Built a company called Carbonworks Sports, and we became pretty quickly a leading producer of distance jump skis. And then we launched a trick ski, and on one of the prototypes got the world record from the top trick skier in the world.
Very cool.
So that took off, and started financing a slalom ski. And so in order to keep that going, started producing snow skis for lots of different snow ski companies. Okay. And so production just started growing and growing. I had no idea what I was doing. I was young, inexperienced, but in some way that was the driving force behind changing everything as I went. I wanted to do things my way and different, and I didn't know what everybody else knew. So figured everything out the hard way. But man, kind of got my butt kicked, especially when we started producing for other snow ski companies and board sports companies, because margins shrank, volumes went up, right, and the mistakes that would be made would just be compounded,
much more costly
and gigantic. And at some point, I'll never forget, in the shower one morning, I was just like, we had just had another roll-off dumpster dropped off to the building to fill it up with snow skis that we screwed up, hundreds of pairs. And I was like, I don't have to do this. Like, it just clicked. It's like, I don't have to. So I went in and started shutting the company down. Sold off different parts of it and started playing. Kind of extreme one way, extreme the other way. But I'd spent about 8 years building that, and then met a good friend, John, who knew. And we just started traveling and playing. And that led to how we met.
Okay. That's what led to you becoming a skydive instructor and doing that. Wow. That's cool. Tell me how, well, first I just want to go into, so we were jumping. You were one of my, actually, I don't think you weren't an AFF, you weren't my AFF instructor. You were doing tandems and stuff, right? At the time?
I don't remember doing an AFF jump with you.
I don't think you did. I did it with like Rich and what was her name? It started with an L. She was so nice.
AFF instructor that started with an L. I don't remember.
Man, I'm sure I'm Facebook friends with her. She was so great. I'll think of it later. But yeah, I mean, it was so fun. But then we went into because I was launching one of my first companies, Willpower, at the time, and you had the Jetpack company,
right?
So let's talk about that, man. So like, first off, before we dive into this, I just want to share here, we're talking about legit jetpack, guys. Like, we're talking strapped on your back and flying through the air with a jetpack is exactly what you think. Like, somewhere in the archives, you can find the Willpower jetpack video on YouTube, I'm sure. But we're talking a legit thing. And so this is what I did as part of a promotion for an event that I was at where I was launching Willpower. And so it was one of the only, if not the only one in the US company that did it.
The only, especially at that time, the only company that you could actually hire to come do a jetpack performance, especially, perfect example, launching a product at an event, that kind of thing. You want to make an impression.
No kidding.
You hire a jetpack.
Yeah, I remember it definitely made an impression. Like, we were like, what is this?
It's the sketchiest, most impractical, ridiculous flying machine ever invented. And has no real purpose other than creating a wow factor. That's all it's good for. It's old military technology from the 60s. They gave up on it, realizing real quick, this has no practical purpose at all.
No, because you could never fly more than like 30, 40 seconds.
30 seconds. Right? 30 seconds. It's a peroxide rocket The fuel is incredibly dangerous and expensive. It's so impractical, but does it make an impact? You see a jetpack, you never forget it. That's for sure.
Yep. No, I still have people to this day, 8 years later, however long it's been, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you had that jetpack." That I'm like, man, that worked. Like the long-term marketing there was definitely is the tail end of that. Like people do not forget. And for the science nerds, it is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 99, 100% pure hydrogen peroxide.
91 minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pure hydrogen peroxide, and it's basically forced through several permeable layers of silver. It's
silver-coated nickel. So it looks like a screen like from a window, but the screen is made out of nickel, and then it's plated in a special way with a special silver, and it acts as a catalyst that breaks that peroxide, H2O2, and it splits it into H2O, steam, hot steam, and oxygen. So that's the product.
Yeah.
Hot steam and oxygen is what's coming out the nozzles.
So it's super green and environmentally friendly.
Totally environmentally friendly. That's all it is. Except for you take
the only byproducts are water and oxygen.
Right. For reference, though, like the peroxide you would get to put on a cut that you pick up from the drugstore, that's 3%.
Okay.
You put it on an open wound and it starts to bubble and react. 91%, it sets dirt on fire. You pour it on the dirt or it spills and the dirt will literally ignite. Very, very dangerous. Yeah.
You don't want to spill any of that in the factory.
Nope. Or it touches
or
your
on
skin.
Your body.
Yep.
Will it literally just like melt your skin?
Sure does. Yep.
Wow.
While it's trying to set your skin on fire. Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Nasty.
Oh.
Yep.
Have you ever seen that happen to anyone?
Yep. Not the fire. I've seen lots of things set on fire, including clothing. Like if there's a leak on the suit, I've seen it set pants on fire. No joke. Seen it cause third degree chemical burns.
Whoa.
From a bag crash. Nasty stuff. And there are other types of jetpacks out there now, and there were some that were being developed at the time that used jet engines. And the way I became involved with the project was to design and build the world's first jet-powered flying motorcycle, which we did. A ridiculous project. But
I remember seeing pictures of this.
Yeah, we did get it to fly. Very difficult, but it was kind of coming up until that point where small jet engines were powerful enough and reliable enough, quotes implied there, that they could provide enough power to be able to put on something like a jetpack or make a flying motorcycle with jet engines. So whole separate set of danger and risk, different from the rocket powered machines, but the rocket powered machines were the ones that we would travel around the world doing high impact shows.
Yeah. Because you guys did shows all over the world.
All over the place. Yep.
What were some of you did one for like the Prince of Dubai and like
we did a show. We actually there are some that we got canceled, but we were doing hired to do a show for the royal family of Kuwait, but it was too loud for the king's ears, so we got canceled off of that one. Similar happened. We were doing a show.
What a silly reason.
In Abu Dhabi for, I believe it's called Emirates Day or something like that, but it's like all of the Emirates kind of come together and celebrate. And so lots of royalty there. We got canceled from that one as well. Too loud. But we've done lots of other shows all over the place. Name a country, pretty good chance we've done a show there.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
And
including right here in Colorado.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. It was awesome. This was at a hemp show.
Yep.
It was like mostly like a hemp industry, CBD, stuff like that. And the crazy rumor that was being spread around was that the jetpack was hemp powered, like it was hemp fuel. And we're like, no, but dude, that spread so fast. It spread way faster than we could get.
You sure you didn't start that one?
I did. I swear that wasn't me. I didn't. It was no behind the closed curtain thing. I was no dark marketing there for me. But yeah, man, that was awesome. That was a trip. I remember asking you if I could fly it, and you gave me two reasons to tell me no. It was one, I need several hundreds of hours of training, And 2, I just weighed way too much.
Yeah, jetpack pilots are skinny.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
you said like 160 pounds max.
Yeah,
is
that's
what
about it.
Yeah.
160, 170.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of, for something that uses that much fuel that fast,
Yeah.
you know, the lighter it is, the longer it flies.
Right.
So kind of, you know, coming off the ground, it's at full power, as much thrust as it can produce. And it, you know, the machine loses about half of its weight in that 30 seconds just in fuel.
So there's no like throttle to it.
Oh, there's a throttle. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But it's at full throttle just to get off the ground. But second by second, it's losing weight. So it gets faster and faster. And the perception to the pilot is that it's more and more powerful just second by second.
Until it's not anymore.
Until it's out of fuel.
Poof.
Yep.
So you got to really know when to land.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you will land. It's guaranteed. Yep. Nobody has stayed up there yet.
You need to make sure you land controlled, though.
That's the ideal situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tricky, but the pilots are super highly skilled. They oftentimes come from adventure sports of other types. You know, it takes a certain amount of braveness.
Yeah.
It takes a certain amount of willingness to put your life at risk to even try it.
Right.
And a lot of people look at it and it doesn't look that dangerous until you see all the behind the scenes things that it can be really dangerous.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can only imagine you'd lose a little bit of control on something like that. It'd be hard to get control back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this. I know that is the reason that you haven't skydived. Is that because you've just been busy doing other things? Or I know you had brain cancer and
still have brain cancer.
Still have brain cancer, but you've had multiple surgeries.
One main surgery, several times with targeted radiation, lots of meds. So life changes. I mean, that's the short answer. And passions and interests change, and we get older. And I think, and I've had several large life experiences, and with Jetack Stickers, I got diagnosed with brain cancer the week after we launched the company. So Jetpack Stickers and brain cancer got off to the races at exactly the same time.
Wow.
Yep.
And do you know why? Like what gave you brain cancer? Why?
Melanoma, stage 4 melanoma, skin cancer that went straight to my brain.
Wow.
So the prognosis was terrible at the beginning. You know, the day after I went to the hospital, knowing that something was wrong, I asked, you know, I was not able to think very well, but it did dawn on me to ask, like, what happens? I had no idea, other than that the day before I got told I had brain cancer. So I asked, you know, what's the prognosis? And the doctor says 3 to 6 months. But there's a lot happening in cancer treatment technology, and some people are living longer. That's what I got told, you know, but I got the get your affairs in order speech.
Yeah.
So everything changes, you know, after that. And a few days later, I was waking up from brain surgery and we got our first order. And 2 days later, I was out of the hospital and we went and produced and shipped on time.
Wow.
So literally they started at exactly the same time. Since then, man, can't express the level of gratitude for one. There's never been a better time to have brain cancer than right now.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, now's the time. But everything is changing and there's so many positive results starting to be developed with new forms of treatment that I've been really lucky to be on kind of the forefront of. They don't work for everybody. There's no guarantee that they will continue to work for me. But at this point, that 3 to 6 month prognosis has turned into a potentially manageable disease.
Wow.
So,
because how many years ago was that?
That was in March of 22. So we're coming up on 4 years.
Wow.
Yep. Still not dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here you are.
I've had plenty of chances but it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You know, it has not always been positive. It's been, there's been a lot of really tough spots, but supportive family, incredible care from incredible doctors, you know, whole team of them. But it changes my perspective and changes what I'm thankful for and changes what I want to do. And definitely not at the point yet where I would say that, the benefits outweigh the negatives from having cancer. I'd just soon skip that.
Of course.
chapter.
Yeah.
However, it's absolutely worth acknowledging that there have been a lot of positives that have come out of it. Just perspective, when you think that you don't have much time left, I think that a lot of people, the natural instinct, at least it was for me, to kind of reflect on your life and be like, well, how'd I do?
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, I've traveled the world. I've done incredible things. I've jumped off of cliffs. I've out of planes. I've met some of the best people that you could ever imagine to meet. And it's like, I can't be upset. I didn't feel like I got cheated. I had a good upbringing, all these things. It's like, if I'm cut short in time, I'm sure not cut short in experience. So yeah, just changes things. So then it's like, well, still not dead.
Right.
So what do we do?
Yeah.
And what's important, I think the best thing is to just acknowledge what's important to you at any given time, at any stage in life, and pursue that, and acknowledge that it's okay if that changes. Yeah. I've had so many different things that I was just gung-ho, like hardcore about, that I just don't have any interest in at the moment. It's okay. I have other stuff that I want to do now.
Yeah.
But it's been interesting watching myself, those ambitions and those pursuits change over time. So I think that's the most important thing, is go hard as you can after whatever you want.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out, and if what you want to do is different later, it's all good.
Yeah.
Do that now.
It's like, whether it works out or not, it's okay to change course. Like,
absolutely.
It's okay to be great at something and then choose to do something completely different. It's okay to be really passionate about one thing for a certain period of time and then completely just not do it anymore. That's interesting. I mean, it makes me think of how when I was done playing basketball and playing overseas, I didn't touch a basketball for 5 or so years. And I think that was more along the lines of like, I had some like identity crisis around it. But at the same time, like, even just hearing you say that, it makes me almost go back in time and be more okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it didn't matter that I didn't, like, it was okay that I took a 5-year sabbatical from touching a basketball. Like,
for sure.
And now I have fun in rec leagues and stuff, just completely different type of situation. But I have other things I'm equally passionate about, or even more passionate about than I was that at the time. So yeah.
Everybody changes.
Yeah.
When I was in prison.
And it's okay to change.
When I was in prison,
I
read a book called Man's Search for Meaning.
Okay.
And it was all about how...
Is that by Viktor
Frankl?
You're joking, dude. I had a meeting with a guy this morning, Rafe, who said you were over at his house the other day. Had a great meeting with you too. And I went to my friend Rafe's house. What's up, Rafe, if you're listening? And he was like, dude, you need to buy this book.
Yeah.
And so I literally, before you walked up and we sat down in here, I ordered it on Amazon.
Crazy.
30 minutes ago.
It's a sign, man.
That's wild.
The biggest thing that I got out of that, and I'm sure a lot of people watching would know that story and heard of that book and that guy. But the short story is, he was a doctor of some sort, I believe psychologist or psychiatrist, through the Holocaust. Knew what was happening, being starved to death. Horrible situation. But because of his analytical background, was watching himself go through this process and trying to understand some of the emotions and perspectives that he was having and gaining going through that. And one of those was, I remember a story, and it was, here he was starving, and he got an extra piece of bread from a guard. And his analysis was, he's like, I had true happiness and true joy from that piece of bread in this incredibly crazy situation, but I had adapted to where that brought about is just as powerful and just as real as anything else in his previous life had given him joy and happiness. And it's like, wait, here I am. And because I couldn't quite figure it out. I was in prison for a year, and scared, crazy federal prison, huge experience. We can get into that or not if you want.
Okay. Yeah. I would love to hear that story in a minute.
But I was there for not too long, and I was like, Hamburger Wednesdays. I was like, why do I feel really happy about Hamburger Wednesdays. And it's like, I'm hanging out with one of my best friends, and we're designing airplanes, and, met some super smart people, and getting super fit. And it's like, I'm not unhappy. Do I want to be here? No. But I read that book, and it's like, yeah, I adapted. And if you allow yourself to adapt, humans are incredibly capable of adapting to just about any situation if you allow yourself to. And I'm not saying settle by any means, but allow yourself to change what brings you happiness, and allow yourself to pursue things that are important at any given time. And it may be a whole different set of boundaries compared to what it was, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So it's a powerful book. I hope you read it. I'm curious to hear what you say about it.
I am going to read it.
What you say about
Definitely.
it.
Like, I was already planning on reading it, but now, man, honestly, I'm like a little bit mind blown right now, because things like that don't happen very often, where you have those type of synchronicities.
Mm-hmm.
What a crazy synchronicity that the two people within 3 hours total time, really less, I would say, probably within 90 minutes of each other, mentioned and brought the same book up to me, and I've already ordered it.
It's a good book. It's not long to read.
No.
The analysis at the
best
back,
books
but the
don't
actual
take long
story,
to read.
I think it's maybe a couple hour read, if that.
Yeah. The best books are something that you can read and they just hit you.
Yeah.
They make an impact on you that will last a lifetime.
That one did.
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm excited to read it now.
Yeah.
Even more so.
I think you'll like it. And I think it just kind of fits in with what we've been talking about, which we had no plan of what to talk about.
No.
Just free forming it.
Never have a plan coming on this show, man.
But everything changes. We change. Circumstances change. And some are tragic. Some are awesome. Appreciate the awesome ones. You can find gratitude in the smallest little thing if you look for it. And that makes you happy and wanting to pursue great things all the time, given anything. So it's all kind of summed up in that book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, gratitude is like the key component to joy.
It's incredibly important. And I'm grateful that I've had the circumstances to be able to find gratitude.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick story.
Okay.
So I believe I had just had brain surgery.
Okay.
What sent me to the hospital was I was confused. It happened fast. I was trying to write an address on a check, or on an envelope to mail a check. And I didn't realize it, but then all of a sudden there's like 30 envelopes on the table with half-written addresses. And I'm like, it's one thing, like, you screw up, you set one aside, you try again. And I didn't realize until there were about 20, 30 envelopes sitting around. I'm like, oh, this isn't normal. Something's wrong. And then I realized my hands work. I can think. I cannot seem to be able to put this together to copy the address from here to here. I was like, something's wrong. Had Scott take me to the hospital. I was having a hard time speaking as well. Walked in saying, I think I'm having a stroke. I had no idea what stroke symptoms were. But if you want to see a group of emergency room workers hustle,
tell them you're having a stroke.
Yep.
They will hustle.
Yeah. But that was the start of what became the brain cancer diagnosis. And then shortly after brain surgery, still pretty confused. Tons of heavy steroids to try to shrink all three of the tumors that were in there. One was removed surgically. My head hurt. Everything was just super intense. And I would just go for a walk in my parents' neighborhood. Not a big neighborhood at all. Just because walking felt better. So it was like one evening, March, and I'm walking and, got fresh staples in my head. And I remember thinking, man, I don't know how to get back to my parents' house. I was like, okay, I know it's not far. I've got a phone in my pocket. I might be able to figure out using that. I don't know what the address is, but I might be able to figure it out. If all comes to worse, I'll knock on somebody's door and explain the situation. Somebody will help me. So I was like, okay, I've got a plan A, a plan B. In the meantime, it's March, probably not going to see summer. It's beautiful. The mountains look incredible. The sunset is one of those amazing Colorado sunsets we get, pink over top of the mountains.
Yeah.
And I was like, right now, I've got this. Yeah. And this is amazing. And I'm not going to let those other problems that I've got A and B plan to solve interfere with this, because this may be the last time I see a sunset this incredible.
Yeah.
Just right now. So I'm just going to put all that aside, enjoy this, deal with that. And I did end up just walking blocks until I recognized something and found my way home. But I'll never forget that. And I think that that was the start of, in that scenario, you know, with impending death, or so I thought, still finding something as tiny as it was that I was just so happy in that moment. And I was like, man, just don't forget how easy it is to find something to be grateful for if you look. Mm-hmm. And that's something I've taken with me along the way. And as we get busier and deal with the day-to-day of a growing company, you know, the problems get bigger day to day to day. We're growing so fast. But it's like, I try to remember when I can to pull myself out of that entrepreneur brain all the time and be like, okay, look at what I've got. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been given a chance up until now every day. Who knows what's going to happen in a couple months? I've had plenty of times where I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of the end. Again. Nope. Still not dead. Again. Nope. It's like, okay, just think about right now. What do I have right now? It could be in this moment. It could be in this week, this day. It doesn't matter. But that is just such a big reset, and it's helped me. And I think it can help anybody if they allow themselves to just find something to be grateful for in literally any circumstance. I think it can be done, and I think it's super powerful.
Yeah. I love that, man. That's moving. That's powerful. Like, one, our problems, no matter how big we think they are, they're not that big. And two, we don't have to sit and focus on our problems. There's so many better things to focus on that, because if our problems are that big and it's at the point where they're about to kill us, literally, then do we really even want to focus on them that much? Or do you want to focus on something that's going to bring you joy?
Yeah. I mean, like, sometimes you have to address the problems, but they don't have to be consuming, you know? And I think being a cancer patient too, you know, I've had to learn how to become a good patient, because obviously I want the best outcome possible. But that includes being very involved in my healthcare, trying to learn about things and trying to provide feedback back to this team of incredibly talented individuals that are just trying to keep me alive. So it's like, I will be a team. And the way I look at it, you'll appreciate this, is that I'm the coach. These are my star players. Yeah. They can all do things that I cannot do, but I call the shots. But in order for me to call the shots, I have to be able to relate to everything that they talk about. I have to take charge. And I think that being a good patient, it sure doesn't hurt in the outcome, and it may help you know, in that circumstance. But I don't know how we got sidetracked on that, but
no, man, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, dude, life throws you curveballs, man. I mean, that's what we're talking about right now. Is just, and how do you respond?
Oh, that's what it was. Sometimes you have to address the problem.
Yeah.
You can't just be like an eternal gratitude, which detaches you from reality. That's not it at all. It's the appreciation for something in the midst of what is really happening. And I think that gives you the strength and the power to clearly focus and address anything that's happening and potentially get a good result out of something that started off terrible. So, but it does start, if you let it overwhelm you, oh, good luck trying to sort your way through it. And that's where small problems seem big. But if you can pull yourself out for a minute, find something to be grateful for, it gives you the clarity of mind to focus on how to solve problems, be they big or small, with, I think, potentially a better outcome.
Yeah.
That's my running theory of how to solve problems.
Well, I think it's working, man. It's working.
I don't know.
It seems to be. It seems to be accurate to me. Like, I mean, that's the way of, I mean, stepping yourself outside the problem so you can actually look at it objectively.
Yep.
And then find within that how to be, how to see the flowers amongst the storm.
As an entrepreneur with a small company, sometimes, if you're wearing a lot of hats, which we all do, it's really easy to forget to step back from that and assume that CEO position for a minute and just look at all the things from the big picture. And it's difficult to do that when it's like, well, I've got this problem right now and this problem right now and that problem tomorrow. It's difficult to sometimes be, I know it's really difficult for me to pull back and be like, okay, here's the general status. Looking from above, the outside view, what would I see?
Yeah.
That's the smarter way to make decisions. Yes, we have to deal with all these little things.
Yeah.
But if you never look at something from the big picture, it makes it really tough to take the general ship of a company and steer it in the right direction.
Because the big picture gives you the perspective to not feel like you're putting out fires all the time. Because when you feel like you're in that putting out fire mode, or when you feel like you're you have all these immediate emergencies to fix and solve, it's hard to see the big picture of how good things are actually going, or how things are actually going in that positive direction. Man, I mean, that really speaks to like some things I have going on right now, where I've been in this almost like anxious panic. And that was part of the conversation I was having this morning with my friend. Was like, I'm here, and and that's kind of exactly what he's telling. He's like, take a step back. Like, all this stuff is good. Like, you're good. Like, like you have all these things. What are the steps you need to take? Okay, well, you write them down. They're on less than I can write all my stuff down on less than a page.
Yeah.
Is it really that stressful if I can put it all on a single page? If there's nothing else to write and it all fits right here, are the problems really that big? Is it really that complicated? No, you're allowing the emotion to overtake your more authentic, logical, big picture self.
Yeah. I'm sure there are all kinds of tools that people use and smart people have figured out for how to get to that point. The only thing I know is that I need to step back every now and then. And another thing I'm grateful for, I have a business coach who I meet with every other week. And they're the former CEO of a competitor of ours. So they have a ton of insight specific to the industry. But more importantly, it's a time, 1 hour every other week for me to step back. I can complain about little day-to-day things, but I'm not going to waste that hour on the tiniest of tiny problems. So if nothing else, every other week, I'm kind of forced to step back a minute, because I'm going to have to give that overview picture to somebody else. And in having to communicate that, it forces you to step back, gather up the big picture so that you can deliver it to somebody else. So for me, that's been super helpful. I never would have thought, I'd never had a business coach before. It just super roundabout way worked out. They were building a company, their coaching company at the same time. And I got asked to be a client. Yeah. I couldn't turn it down. And I was like, of course. So that's been going on now a year and a half. Okay. Something like that. Nice. Super valuable. Yeah. Anything that it takes, whether it be business related or not, when everything feels like it's too much or too difficult to navigate, whatever trick there is to be able to just pull back for a second, find something to be thankful for, and look at things from the big picture, then what it does for me anyway is it puts me in the mental state of mind. It's like, all right, let's get back in there and deal with all the stuff. It goes so much better.
Because I think when you can look at things from the big picture, no matter what the issues or your problems or whatever, like problems you're trying to solve, they don't seem so cataclysmic.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, well, these are just the things, and these are the things that have to be done, and these are the things that have to be addressed, versus I'm in it and there's a fire, and I'm in the house is on fire, and I need to get out of the house. And that, I mean, that's the absolute, I feel like that's a great analogy, because that's how it often feels. Like you're in the house and the house is on fire. How do I put the fire out, or how do I get out of the house? Right.
Yeah.
Versus I'm on the outside of the house.
First get out of the house, then figure out how to put the house.
I'm on the outside of the house looking at the house on fire. I'm like, well, maybe we should call the fire department. Let's get some fire trucks over here.
First, you got to get out. I've been in a house fire.
Yeah. Have you?
Yep.
Okay. Tell that story.
My parents had just bought a house. I stayed the night. The hot tub caught the house on fire. It was a big house, like 3-story back, and woke up, I think it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It was right before Thanksgiving, with my mom screaming, fire, fire, fire. So, the first couple times I'm a heavy sleeper. I wake up though, and it's like, oh, I could hear it in her voice. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Run downstairs. I see my dad. He opens the sliding glass door. He's dragged the hose from the garage. As soon as he opens the sliding glass door, the flames just go whoa into the house. And it was a matter of maybe 1 minute, maybe 2, that you could not take a breath inside the house. So luckily, my sister had been staying there with her young kid. They were not there. Ran out trying to, I ran into the garage. I'm like, fire extinguisher. The fire was gigantic by the time it came in the house. It was not going to do anything. I remember, grabbing the hose. The flames are just lapping up. My dad disappeared. I'm trying to spray the deck. It's like, this is not working. Start choking, can't breathe. Run out. My mom is outside. I don't see my dad. And he had come out just a little before me and gone around the back. So I'm like screaming for my dad. I was just about ready to run back in. There's smoke billowing out of all the windows. Luckily, I heard him on the side, didn't go back in. The whole house burnt down to the ground.
Wow.
Completely. I mean, it just started crashing down, flames 30, 40, 50 feet up in the air over the back of the house. Whoa. House gone. Completely gone.
Wow.
Yeah. So, been in a house fire.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to get out.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if the whole house burns down, well, hey, you've got a fresh slate to build on.
Yep.
And even from a big picture standpoint, it's like, even if the house does burn down, all right, you still got a foundation to build on.
Oh no, they had to take that out too. from all the water.
You're messing up my analogy here.
There was at least a piece of land.
Yeah, there's a piece of land to start with.
Yep.
You really have a fresh slate.
Yep.
And there can be relief in that too. Man, that's wild. Well, let's talk the story about what sent you to federal prison, because I know that's I've definitely heard that story. It's been a long time.
Yep. So I grew up my whole life with endless curiosity and a desire to be in the sky and fly. Those two things. And both of those things have been amazingly great and have sent me to federal prison. So I had just come back from living in New Zealand for a bit. I was trying to buy a drop zone in New Zealand. I was waiting. Deal fell through last second. Came back, flying a paraglider, crashed, smashed my foot. Go to the hospital. They say we have to amputate. I'm like, luckily ended up on a helicopter down to Denver. They saved my foot. So I'm on crutches, in and out of surgeries for months. Couldn't do anything, couldn't work, running out of money fast, couldn't fly. And then was just getting off of crutches, and roundabout way got approached because I was like, I just need to get in the air. I need to fly. I want to get back on the plane. And I got my pilot's license when I was 18 and couldn't do anything in the air. Got approached like, hey, would you like to earn some additional money? You're out of money. You can't fly.
Yeah.
You can fly now. You don't have money. We could put this together and on a project, fly to California, then fly to Minnesota, then back to Colorado. It's like, all right, we'll do a test run. It was for marijuana.
Yeah.
Fly to California, fly to Minnesota, back to Colorado. Everything worked. Me and one of my best friends, Matt, we're like, well, that was easy. We got paid a few $1,000. Small test load. We're like, all right, let's do a bigger load. Fly money to California. This is like a movie, like sketchy.
Yes,
in
like
a
the movie
hotel,
Blow.
scared to find, like, we've got a bunch of cash. We got to meet up with sketchy people, load up the plane, fly it to Minnesota, land middle of the night, hand it off to other sketchy people. They overnight turn that into cash, take the cash back to Colorado, and the cash off to other sketchy people. So it's like, all right, second trip worked. They're on the way back. They're like, all right, we need to do a quick turn right back to California, right back to Minnesota and back. So the amount just kept getting bigger. There's so many side stories. Once we thought we were going to have to land in the middle of the desert and ditch all the weed because we were having engine problems. There's so many tangents to this. But we're flying to...
Talk about being present and in the moment.
Oh, you couldn't help it. Yeah. On the way to California, we've got our new headsets. We've got the iPad playing. We've got the plane on autopilot, tiny plane, 4 seats. It's too bright in the plane. We come up with the bright idea to take all the stacks of cash, and we cover the entire dash of the plane to block out the sun. And then took a picture of that. And the feds skip way forward. The feds let us know that they named it and put it on all the computers as a screensaver for the Department of Homeland Security with the quotes autopilot on. So skip way forward. Yeah. So we pick up, we can hardly fit all the weed in the plane. We're on the way to Minnesota. We land in Minnesota. And Matt, it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, pulling off the runway onto the taxiway, small little airport. Plane starts running like crap. And Matt's like, whoa, what are all those cops doing here? I was like, dude, don't mess around like that. I'm trying to get the plane to run. There's something wrong with the plane. They hit us with an electromagnetic pulse to try to shut down the plane. We found out later. And we're being swarmed by black SUVs, local cop cars, big long guns, barking dogs, the whole thing. Pilot out of the plane, ordered out, handcuffed on the side of the grass. Transported to the jail, having no idea what's happening. Get picked up in the morning by the U.S. Marshals, taken to the federal detention center. And I'm thinking, they don't let people who do what I just did out of prison. No. This is forever. I don't know if I can deal with that. We were on a Frontier flight on the way home later that day.
Whoa.
Yeah. Signature bond out. And then the whole process of being charged with conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance, federal crime.
Wow.
Yeah. So long and short of it, several months of negotiating, learned all about the criminal justice system. Yeah. And some things that I had no idea, some things I think.
Did you represent yourself?
No, had an attorney, but had to battle on a few things. But we ended up getting really light sentences. So when it came down to it, the way that they calculate your sentence is based on the total amount of the weight of weed. things that we fought on were they were weighing it in the bags that it was in, and that put it into a whole different category. For a while, it was like, this might be 5 to 7 years.
Whoa.
And I told my mom, I was like, I can't do it. I was like, I'm going to run. She's like, you can't. So we negotiated. I think it was either 3 or 5 years. We had a limit. It's like, if it's going to be over that, I'm out here. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It ended up being, and you don't know till you go in for sentencing.
Right.
Matt had been sentenced just minutes before me. I go in. I got sentenced to 1 year. I knew that he had been sentenced to 10 months. I'm like, well, yeah, definitely going to prison. I was more responsible than he was. So got 12 months. And then I think we had to schedule a time to show up to prison, you know?
Yeah.
What turned into it is we ended up doing such a short amount of time compared to most people, and in the easiest place that you could possibly do time. We called it Camp Cupcake. So it's called Federal Prison Camp. There are different tiers. So we were in Florence, Colorado at the Federal Prison Camp. There's no cells. It's like dorms, concrete dorms. And the main role is to provide labor for the other prisons that are on the compound, including the Supermax, the one and only U.S. Supermax.
Yeah.
The highest security prison in the world. So I had a couple weeks working in the Supermax as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see any interesting stories from that, or like were you just kind of like more
stories that like we
working?
can't see, but you get to know who's in there.
Yeah.
Kaczynski, Musawi, like those guys are in there, and you know that. I was an orderly in the detention unit within the Supermax and saw crazy experience, just to sum it up. But prison ended up being 1 year of being able to think, plan, study, write, design, get fit, met some really good friends that I'm still friends with now. And I checked in with one of my best friends. So I had like the best possible outcome you could have, but I also saw it just eat people up completely. And sometimes people would be coming off of really long prison sentences and it destroyed them, you know, but it came out, I got a lot out of it in my mind. So talking about like experiences and whether the positives outweigh the negatives or the other, the only thing that takes that whole experience and tips it to the negative is losing my pilot's license. I wouldn't be able to fly now because of brain cancer. But at that point, it's like, that was catastrophic. Everything else was like the stories and the experience and the time, it went by so fast. Looking forward, it always seems like a long way to go. Looking back, you're like, I can't believe it's been a month. Can't believe it's been 6 months. And then you're out. Short time. Lucky, all the way around.
Yeah.
But that did change. You know, that changed me. I think pretty much any life experience has the opportunity to change you. I've had some extreme ones, you know, all over the place.
You have.
But I'm grateful for all of those.
Yeah.
For everyone. I'm not grateful for cancer yet.
Yeah. Still working on that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Like I said, that one's still got a net negative.
Right.
I just soon turn that one back in.
Yeah.
But there have been positives that have come out of that. So,
and even though you're saying you're not grateful for it, I still hear you finding the silver lining. I mean, it sounds like, do you think that anyone can learn to find the silver lining in things? Or do you think that's something that's more like inherent in certain people? Because like, you know, we're talking about these stories and stuff, and, you know, I continue to hear, you know, everything, because I have that philosophy on life too. The hardest things that have happened to me are the things I'm most grateful for. Right. Yeah. But like, do you think that's something that you can learn?
I think in some ways it's a choice, but in other ways too, it's like, well, I've had tons of opportunities. Yes, I've had these crazy, tragic scenarios, something that you could look from the outside and be like, federal prisoner, permanently a felon, brain cancer. You could look at it from the outside, but different people, and I think you can never put yourself exactly in somebody else's shoes, but I can only say that for myself, like having tremendous amount of family support, just so much luck along the way, that which one comes first, the gratitude or the reward back, I have no idea. But I can't say for sure that everybody has an easy time developing that appreciation for even the negative events in their life. I don't know. I don't know if it's a factor of I've been so lucky and been given so much that I can see it. And that is just the outlook that I'm going to find myself in without trying. I would like to think that there's a way to do it. But I look at other people that have such more tragic situations. It's like, man, I don't know if I would be able to find the positives. I know how I've done it in situations that some people think would be tragic for me.
Right.
But I don't know. So I think you'll never get those positive results if you don't find some way to appreciate them for what they are.
Yeah.
You get one chance at being a human.
Yeah.
You know, don't make it all suck.
Right.
There are going to be some sucky things, right?
Yeah. And at least, yeah. And if you can figure out how to, I mean, it's so cliche, but if you can figure out how to make the lemonade from those lemons,
yeah,
like, that's really the secret.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's just like in my nature to do that. And I think it is. And I'm because I just haven't had to really try.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just really lucky for that. I don't know. Maybe it's my upbringing. I have no idea, but I haven't had to really try to find those positives in things. But I sure am grateful that I have.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Well, dude, this has been awesome, man. It's been great catching up with you.
It's not the direction I thought it would go.
No, what direction did you think it was going to go?
I thought we were going to talk about business. I didn't have any idea. But I did come in thinking, all right, is there anything that would be off limits? No. I'm an open book, man.
That's good.
Cancer's on the table, business, prison.
Yeah.
Adventures.
Skydiving, adventures.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
So, full of stories, full of grateful opportunities or things that I've had happen in my life.
Yeah.
That I am super grateful for.
Yeah.
I've lived a crazy, crazy life.
Yeah.
So when my day comes,
you'd be happy.
Like, I don't know, man. I feel like I've lived a couple lifetimes worth of stuff.
Yeah.
So I can't feel like I got the short end of being a human.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot out of it.
That's for sure.
Hopefully a lot more, because there's a lot of stuff I want to do.
Yeah, man. How old are you, Boyd?
I turned 50.
Okay.
In August. So
all right.
50 and a half.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to know with things like your brain cancer, but I mean, you could live however long. Like, there's so many more things that you could do.
Yeah.
And it's also like nothing is guaranteed. I'm 35. I could get hit by a bus walking down the street here in Boulder later on today. I sure hope not.
Yep.
But you never know. I just had a really good friend who was really close to me, died at the age of 40, heart attack. I'm not sure it was exactly a heart attack, but it was a heart related thing that happened to him in the middle of the night. Nothing's guaranteed. He was in good shape. He was healthy. And then he's just gone. Yep. So, we really do never know.
Tomorrow, and it is super cliche, but tomorrow's never guaranteed.
Right.
Until you get told that, hey, you've only got a few tomorrows left.
Mm-hmm.
It just does seem super cliche, but that was the first time I was like, oh, dang. But yeah, we've had friends, close family members, whatever, that, their days have ended. So it's like, well, in the meantime, I'm going to go hard at what I want to do. I'm going to try to do good things. Try to do what's important, not just for me, but for others. And someday it'll just be a wrap.
Yeah.
So hopefully I feel a lot of fulfillment, but there's still so much I want to do.
Yeah. What's the number one thing you still want to do?
Mostly it's business related right now. I mean, we've got new software that's just about to come out. I'm wanting to take what I thought starting was just like a commodity industry, and I want to change it up. We're getting to the point now where we've laid the foundation. We've built a very healthy company. We're growing like crazy. But my mind wants to go to what can we do that hasn't been done before? And we're literally in beta testing on some new stuff right now.
Can you share what any of those are, or are they
It's too
early, too secret?
Next week I'd be able to.
Okay.
I have it working.
You'll have to text me.
Yeah, I'll text you.
You'll
I will.
have to
I'll
share
give you
it
the
with me.
insider thing. But it is right there.
That's awesome.
And
Does
then
it
that
have
will
anything to do with like AI? You said software.
It will.
I'm assuming that's got some AI.
This
components.
first version doesn't, but
Okay.
we're hoping to add another version of it every 3 months this year.
Okay.
And so the next one will have an AI component to it.
Cool.
Yeah.
You ever think you'll get back into like paragliding or anything like that?
I don't know. I still have my plane, my
Oh,
ultralight
okay.
that's at the airport. Yeah. Which I haven't flown since I got sick. I had wanted to several times at the beginning when my doctors were just trying so hard to keep me alive. I was like, it would be super rude of me to come in with a broken arm and explain that I crashed my plane. And they're like, dude, we're just trying to see if we can keep you. So I didn't
Is
do
your
that.
ultralight, because I don't know that I've told you my ultralight story. Is your ultralight a parachute or a fixed wing?
No, fixed wing.
Okay. When I was a kid, probably like 10. Yeah, I'm going to say 10. My dad had got a powered parachute, ultralight, and it was a 2-seater, and he loved it. And I think this is what gave me the first itch to want to become a skydiver, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew up on a farm in Illinois, so big pastures and obviously lots of like big cornfields and stuff. But we would take off on the pasture outside our house, kind of between my house and my grandparents' house. And we'd fly all around. You could see all the farms and everything. Yep. So cool as a kid. Mm-hmm. This is definitely what gave me the it. Like my dad loved it. And my dad, it was the coolest. It was like the hippest thing my dad did, And, my dad is much more of like my dad loves to like sit and read books.
Mm-hmm.
He's much more of like an introvert, like not someone that you would expect to just like go have an fly an ultralight.
Yep.
And so I went up several times. I'd probably say I went with him half a dozen times, but he probably went several more times than that. It was like a hobby that he had gotten into and he loved it. Well, the last time that I went with him, I had told one of my good friends that we were going to go fly over to their house, and I'm like, so go look outside for us in like 20 minutes or whatever, right? And so we're flying over there, and my dad's trying to do this like spiral trick, and we're coming right up over this cornfield, and my dad accidentally hit the kill switch as he was trying to, and we died, crashed into the cornfield. It split in half on itself. So I was laying in the cornfield on top of my dad. And, I remember it wasn't even that scary. It was just like, I remember my dad saying, we're going down. Like, there was no time to turn it back on. Like, but my mom never let me go with him again. And ultimately he got it fixed, and then he sold it, like 6 months later.
Yeah.
But that was my ultralight experience as a kid.
I had wanted to fly for my earliest days I can remember. And that's all I talked about. I remember, we had, growing up as a competitive water skier, several of the people at the lake were pilots, and I was just like, that's so cool. I got invited out to the airport back before all of the restrictions and security and stuff, and got to sit in the cockpit and do a walk around the plane. And then at 14, a family friend took me out for a ride in an ultralight 2-seater. It was the first time that we got to cruise over just like I had imagined and dreamt about as a kid.
Yeah.
Cruising over the fields, got to try to fly it. And I was like, there's no turning this off.
Yeah.
At this point. That's all I wanted to do. So I do think though, like that childhood curiosity, having something that helps children are just innately curious.
Yeah.
Just let them help them experience everything. Don't tell them no, unless it's, I don't know, let them experience as much as possible. Because as an adult, I feel like so many people just lose that curiosity. I'm super grateful that my mom told me there's nothing you can't do.
Yeah.
And it was when I was trying to fly off the fence with water ski boxes on my arms. I was like, I can't fly, Mom. She's like, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything. Yeah. I'm like, I can't fly. She would not give up. She wouldn't cave to me being practical about it. And so
I can't fly.
I went to
boxes
bed
on my arms.
I went to bed thinking, I'm just doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like Mom says, it's possible. And so I never got told that stuff isn't possible.
Yeah.
Whether that was intentional on their part or not, I don't know. But my parents always just let me be curious, let me figure out how things work. Didn't really get in the way of me trying to build stuff, whatever. If nothing else, they just didn't get in my way.
Yeah.
That's been amazing and horrible. Not horrible. It's provided a life full of adventure and experiences. Yep.
Oh, so, man. Well, do you still have your the big paraglide parachutes where we could go and run off of a hill?
I have a couple. Yeah.
I want to do that at some point, man.
Yeah.
So if we ever can find a time and you're interested, I would love to do that. I could
potentially be talked into that.
Okay. Because that's so different than skydiving. Like,
totally different.
I remember picking up a guy once coming back from Boulder towards Golden. And he had flown all the way from like Colorado Springs to Boulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, there's air channels up in the sky that you can find. He's like, you could go all the way to the other side of the country if you knew where to find them. I'm like, what? And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, there's a real easy one from Colorado Springs to Boulder. And I'm like, whoa, and that just sounds, what a beautiful time. You're just up in the sky for an entire day.
Well, look at how many generations and millennia, like cave dwellings, paintings, like you can tell that people have dreamt of flying forever. And here we are in the best time for human flight. I mean, look at what we do now that they only dreamt of. And it's just, it's right out literally right out the door here. Right. A couple blocks away is a great paragliding spot.
Yeah.
So human flight, I think it's instinctive, and
the curiosity
and
to push past limits, to do things that most people wouldn't do.
Yeah. Live like a kid.
Yeah. It's a great way.
Everything's new. They just go for it. They don't know.
Yeah. Well, Boyd, this has been awesome, man.
Super fun.
Thank you so much for coming on my show. And
I mean, it's really just been like catching up.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. Like, and that's what I try to do here. It's like, I don't have a big following or anything. I'm just here to have fun and have conversations with people that are meaningful and impactful to me, and and to catch up with friends. And
well, I think mission accomplished. Yeah, for sure.
Mission accomplished. Absolutely. So,
well, super honored and grateful to be here, and if for no other reason, just to sit down and have a great chat with an old friend.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Likewise.
Love you, brother.
You too, Will. Thank you.
Yep.